So here I am doing another rant video. I really didn't want to do this rant video, but I kind of had to.
How dare you!
I wanted to give a balanced analysis of what was said at the MCIA conference, but there was one thing that sort of like got my goat pretty early on in the conference, and things just went downhill from there. And hopefully in this video I'll get this all off my chest and then hopefully come back with a little bit more of a balanced analysis of the full conversation. So this is going to be a bit soundbitey, but I hope it will help you to understand where I'm coming from. Now, the first thing that set me off in the wrong direction was something that was said by Lilian Greenwood in her presentation, the video presentation that we were presented with at the early stages of this event.
I'd like to begin by paying tribute to the work of the MCIA, especially your unwavering commitment to championing the better understanding of the views and needs of both riders and industry within your diverse sector.
So, I don't know if you noticed it there, but I certainly picked up on it straight away. Since when does the Motorcycle Industry Association represent the views and opinions of riders? Do you know what? We have riders' organisations, people like Motorcycle Action Group, for example, that speak on behalf of riders. Now, you might say, OK, what's so bad about the industry representing the voice of motorcyclists to the government? Well, that's where we have to go deeper and start looking at why I'm so upset about that.
There is no place for dreams of the past, old ideas and tired thinking. Our customers are generally the wrong side of 50.
So there we go. We've basically got Tony Campbell saying that there's no place for nostalgia, for history. All his customers are the wrong side of 50. So basically he's trying to say that we're all a bunch of old dinosaurs and the government shouldn't be listening to what we're saying. I'm sorry, but I disagree, Tony.
There's a myriad of reasons why we believe that customers are not engaging with our product.
Yeah, there's a myriad of reasons why customers are not engaging with your products, Tony. Maybe because the industry body is telling us that we're a bunch of old farts and dinosaurs that nobody should be listening to.
But we also have to accept it may well be the lack of desire to do what we do.
Well, there's certainly a lack of desire to do what you do, Tony, as the Motorcycle Industry Association.
And lastly, we must also present ourselves as part of the future of transport and net zero, whether we like it or not.
What is it that makes Tony Campbell think that the Motorcycle Action Group or any of the other riders' rights groups are not lobbying and presenting motorcycling as part of the future of transport? This is the argument that we've been making for decades, long before sustainability and all these arguments became fashionable. We were making those arguments. This is nothing new. We've been doing it for years.
I think that this should be a massive wake-up call for all of us in this room today. It's precisely why we have spent so long trying to put space between the industry of old and the industry of tomorrow.
So basically what he's saying is, yes, the Motorcycle Industry Association is totally disassociating itself from its actual customers, those of us that are the wrong side of 50 that are still buying their product.
I think that nostalgia has absolutely no place anymore, certainly never did really, in government policy making, and nor should it.
Again, what you think as a rider, that's totally irrelevant. It is not what he wants to represent to government. And yet, somebody is telling the government that the MCIA is representing the views of riders.
We stopped defining ourselves purely as motorcycles. We no longer limit our conversations to just leisure motorcycling.
Yeah, we don't want to define ourselves as motorcyclists because that's not what we're about as the Motorcycle Industry Association, is it?
Because let's be totally clear, for as long as we aren't clearly and compellingly making the case for why we're relevant, we don't have any rights.
We apparently have no rights. So how dare we say anything? How dare we have an opinion?
I think it's about continuing to shed these sort of outdated narratives.
So yes, our outdated narrative is going to be shed. The problem is our outdated narrative is exactly the same narrative as he's trying to present, with obviously one minor twist.
I think the strength of that story has always been there. I just think that historically we haven't been telling that story right, and now more than ever with this new government must we be telling that story right.
So apparently nobody before Alfie has been telling this story right. Nobody has been making the right arguments for motorcycling as part of the transport solution, because apparently what we've been saying, that motorcycles are part of the solution for the future of sustainable transport, can't have been right. What is he trying to say here?
For too long we've clung to what was familiar. I think we've often been blinded by our own passion without realising actually that that's what's been probably holding us back all these years.
So there we go. Our passion for riding motorcycles is what's been holding us back all along.
In reality, the greatest potential for us and the government lies within the full spectrum of Power 2, 3 light four-wheeled vehicles.
Right, so basically what he's saying there is motorcycles, i.e. the thing that we ride, only going to be a small part of the future. Is going to be those 3 and 4 wheeled strange vehicles that they seem to think everybody wants, that is going to be the future. He is basically dumping on motorcyclists.
Any kind of strategy or approach, I think, that focuses on just a single segment of the market, I don't think that will deliver the progress that we need, because it's only a small part of the future and what we have to offer, and I think crucially therefore of not much interest to the government.
There you go. So he is clearly going to the government and saying, yes, motorcycles, that thing that makes up, well, I don't know exactly what the percentage is, but it's got to be well over 90% of the market, the L category market, that is of no relevance or no interest to the government. Hardly making the case for motorcycling being part of the future of the transport system, are you? You're basically saying, yes, you're absolutely right, Mr. Government. We've got no interest in all those motorcycles. Yeah, we're only really here to promote those other things that nobody actually is buying at the moment.
This is what people typically think when they think about our sector. And they'd of course be absolutely right. We're incredibly proud of our rich heritage.
I'm glad that he's proud of our rich heritage of, you know, the motorcycles, the vehicles that we actually buy, the vehicles that we actually use. But what's his alternative?
So please, whatever outdated image we have of our sector in our minds, please erase it. This is who we are.
There you go. Please erase that image. Motorcycles, let's replace it with four-wheeled vehicles, because those are clearly the L category vehicles that are the only part of the future. Shocking.
This is who we truly represent, and I think our future, if it's to be a really prosperous one, I think depends entirely on being recognised as such. So please, let's not let passion stand in the way of our future. I think passion often can be the problem, actually not the solution. Unless, of course, that passion comes with purpose, and I think MCIA, now more than ever, has a very, very clear purpose.
He believes that passion isn't the way forward unless passion is also matched by purpose. Unfortunately, his passion is for a purpose that doesn't really align with the riders, and therefore doesn't align with the actual market that he's supposed to be promoting. This is frankly beyond belief. I can't get the words out. Graham from the TRF, he asked some interesting questions at the panel discussion. Saved me the bother. Thank you very much, Graham.
But I am going to challenge some of them. Alfie stood up and talked about how we're trapped in the past. I disagree. We have been lobbying on the benefits of motorcycling for many years.
I'm not the only one that says it. We've been lobbying on the benefits of motorcycling for many years. So all this claim that the passion and the vigour with which we've been doing it for all these years being what's been holding us back, none of this adds up.
Well, quickly, Graham, we've spoken about this loads and loads of times, and you know I disagree with you, and that's fine.
So Alfie disagrees, but that's fine. Don't worry, because we're not actually going to pay any attention to what you've got to say, are we?
I just think that mentioning, for example, you know, we've got no chance in hell.
What are you disagreeing with?
Well, in terms of, I think that we have been stifled, our progress has been stifled given the way in which we've spoken about ourselves. The passion is the problem thing I mentioned earlier. That's what I sort of, we disagree on those things. Come on.
But we don't.
Yeah, it's okay, we disagree, you know, the passion's the problem, you shouldn't have been saying all those things that I'm actually saying now, that motorcycling or the L category sector is the future of transport. except the part of it that actually exists, those motorcycles, those we can ignore those and forget about those. But yes, I totally disagree with your position, because I'm saying this in a totally different way that you don't understand and clearly have been getting wrong all these years. Just to finish us off is Tony Campbell's take on things.
I was told, and this is 3 weeks before I actually even stepped into this job, that we would never get ministerial support behind motorcycling. And it was that alone that made me realise that we needed to completely speak a different language. We had to put the camouflage on, we had to wear a dress. Whatever we had to do to get on the agenda is what we done.
We had to put on a dress. We had to deny the fact that motorcycles is what we're here to represent. This is not a body that is speaking for riders. Let's be very clear on this, and this is why I'm going to be writing to the Minister to say exactly that. We've got an industry body that is basically trying to suppress the views and opinions of the rider, and is certainly speaking in the government's ear, saying, yes, you don't need to listen to them because we're the ones who represent the true future of motorcycling. We don't quite understand why nobody's getting into motorcycling these days, but it's probably because they don't agree with those dinosaurs that are currently buying our machines. I take the view that motorcyclists should be proud of motorcycling. We should be standing up for it in all its glory. We do not need to be apologetic. We do not need to put on camouflage, wear a dress, whatever it is that Tony Campbell wants to express it as. We are motorcyclists. We are proud of what we do. And we think that this should be a legitimate and sensible part of the future of transport. That's not how the industry wants to promote it. That's their choice. But this is how we choose to promote it as riders. We are the voice of riders. We don't need the industry telling us what we should think. Am I being thin-skinned? Am I being unnecessarily sensitive about the comments that were being made here? Or have I got this about right? I'd be interested to hear your opinions. So apologies for that if you don't like it. Of course, if you do like it, feel free to like and share this video.